You could spend like thousands of dollars on the most premium TV display on the market, right? But if your audio system is relying on the TV's built-in speakers, you're effectively watching half a movie.
Yeah, you are missing so much of the actual experience.
Exactly. And fixing that shouldn't require, a degree in electrical engineering, but the moment you start looking at professional grade installs, the specs just get incredibly dense. So for today's deep dive, we're pulling apart the Kramer Tavor 6.0 on-wall powered speakers.
We're using the technical data and verified reviews from HDTVSupply to really see how they engineer that upgrade.
Right off the bat, the standout structural choice Kramer makes here is using an active-passive pairing.
Right, which dictates how the entire system processes sound. Basically, you have one speaker doing the heavy lifting.
To visualize the mechanism, it means you have one heavier speaker. It's about 7.9 pounds acting as the power plant. It takes the raw electrical signal from your source and, well, physically pushes that current through speaker wire to move the cones in the lighter passive unit. That one's about 5.9 pounds.
Yeah, and people might wonder, why go that route? I mean, why not just buy two independent active Bluetooth speakers, mount them, and call it a day?
It sounds so much easier, right?
It does. But independent active speakers each need their own power source and internal processing. And that often introduces like micro delays and synchronization issues.
Oh, because they're trying to communicate wirelessly.
Exactly. By having one centralized amplifier in the active unit driving both channels, the timing is absolutely flawless. And that built-in amplifier is pushing 2 by 50 watts RMS.
And RMS root mean square. That's the metric that actually matters, right? Unlike the peak power stuff that marketing teams love to slap on boxes.
Oh yeah, peak power is practically meaningless. RMS is the continuous average power the speaker can handle.
Meaning you get consistent, distortion-free audio through an entire scene, rather than the speaker just, surviving a split-second explosion sound effect.
Right, and that continuous power is driving two very specific components in these units. You've got a 6.5-inch polypropylene woofer and a 1-inch silk dome tweeter.
Polypropylene is rigid but lightweight, right?
Yeah, which allows the woofer to move a massive amount of air very quickly to hit those 50 hertz bass frequencies.
And that 50 hertz mark, that's where you get the physical thump you actually feel in your chest.
Spot on. Then the silk dome tweeter handles the high end, going all the way up to 20 kilohertz. Since silk is soft, it absorbs internal resonances instead of just ringing.
Giving you those really crisp, natural highs right at the upper limit of human hearing without sounding harsh or tinny.
So you're getting the entire human auditory range processed internally.
Yeah.
Completely bypassing the need for like a bulky external AV receiver taking up shelf space.
It's such an elegant setup, but putting a 100-watt combined amplifier inside a wall-mounted box introduces a very practical daily problem.
Right, the power management.
Yeah, nobody wants to climb a ladder to the U-shaped brackets to flip a power switch after every movie, but leaving them running hot 24/7 is a massive waste of electricity.
Not to mention, it degrades the component lifespan over time. So Kramer tackles that with a highly sensitive auto standby circuit. When idle, the system drops to a tiny 0.5 watt trickle.
Okay, so it's basically asleep.
Basically, yeah. But the amplifier is constantly scanning the audio line for a mere 12 millivolt electrical change.
Wait, 12 millivolts? That is practically microscopic.
It really is. The moment you press play, the initial electrical impulse of the audio signal crosses that 12 millivolt threshold, and the speakers wake up instantly.
So you don't even miss the first syllable of dialogue.
You don't miss a thing. And because the enclosures are magnetically shielded, containing the magnetic fields generated by the speaker coils, that sudden surge of power won't distort the picture on the monitor you might have mounted, say, 3 inches away.
So the hardware manages its own power and protects the equipment around it. But, navigating the purchase and installation of commercial-grade AV gear is rarely that automated.
Very true. If you misunderstand the cabling requirements for your specific room, all that brilliant engineering is useless.
Which brings us to the HDTVSupply customer reviews. It really recontextualizes the current $418 price tag.
It's fascinating because the hardware reviews are heavily overshadowed by praise for the human support network.
Yes. Specifically, an employee named Rachel. Reading through these verified reviews, she operates less like a salesperson and more like a project manager.
Oh, definitely. Customers describe her actively auditing their orders. Like if a buyer selects components that don't interface correctly, she catches the error.
And restructures the order before the warehouse even packs it.
It highlights a huge vulnerability in buying complex tech. The Tavor 6.0 handles its own power cycling and audio processing flawlessly,
Yeah.
but it cannot tell you if you bought the wrong gauge wire for your wall depth.
Exactly. The ultimate value of the equipment relies on a seamless implementation.
Yeah, you need that whole system to work together.
So, sure, you're paying for the 6.5-inch polypropylene woofer and the 50 hertz physical thump, but you are also paying for the safety net of someone making sure you don't install it backward.
It's an invisible feature, but maybe the most important one.
It really is. Which leaves you with an interesting paradox to chew on. As our physical devices become increasingly autonomous, managing their own power, tuning their own frequencies, eliminating the need for receivers,
Yeah.
will knowledgeable, human-driven customer service actually become the rarest, most valuable luxury feature in the tech industry?